statement. We'll
Yep.
take some questions.
Very exciting here. Music City Bowl is a really important part of the holidays in Nashville, and we have a new sponsor, TransPerfect, and grateful for their investment. Big day.
Today you announced Tennessee would continue accepting refugee resettlements. Could you talk a little about the decision and what led you to that decision?
Yeah, you know, President Trump has had issued an executive order that allowed states the option, and that was important to me that we had that option. And then, I think our nation has had a long history of being a beacon of refuge for the politically and religiously oppressed. And I personally have worked with refugees in many places around the world, so I have personal experience with that. And I think that the plan, as it's designed for our ability to opt in or out, and the limits on this resettlement plan were acceptable to me, and that combined with my belief that we have an obligation to do that. That's how I made my decision.
Do you expect any blowback from even your party on this decision?
I certainly know that there's disagreement about around this subject, but there's disagreement around most subjects, and that's part of it. You agree to disagree on things and move forward, but I think it's the right decision. I feel good about it.
You touched on it a little bit with your work in other countries, but how big a role did your faith and your work in other countries play in this decision?
Well, there are a lot of decisions. The adherence to, or the importance of the 10th Amendment piece of that was very important to me. The limits on the number of refugees, the vetting process that ensures safety for our citizens that President Trump has put in place. Those are changes to previous resettlement programs. But certainly the fact that I have experience with oppressed folks in the Middle East and Africa and other places around the world, and right here in Nashville, frankly, that work and my belief that we do have a biblical mandate to provide refuge to the oppressed, that all of those things played into my decision.
Was there ever a point that you were going to maybe say no? Did you ever switch your... I'm curious about this decision making. Was there ever a point where you were thinking about saying no, like let's hit the pause button?
Well, as with every decision, what I tend to do is try to be thoughtful and give it time and take in all the facts. We talked with the Trump administration to understand clearly and to make sure that I was comfortable with the parameters around it, limits, options, the vetting process, security for our country, and the knowledge, particularly the knowledge that we will have of who comes into our state. That was very important to me. So I just took time to assimilate information and then make that decision.
You already had a statement coming from Speaker Sexton and Lieutenant Governor McNally distancing themselves from the decision, saying they didn't agree with it. Do you have a reaction to that?
There's oftentimes people disagree on decisions, and I think that's a part of the process going forward. No one ever expects everyone to agree on the same thing. So where there's an agreement to disagree, we move forward and people come together. I want to be a person that brings people together around things that we agree upon, and when we disagree, agree to disagree, move forward. So I have a great working relationship with both the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker, and look forward to working with them on great things going forward in this next session. So I value that relationship and look forward to it.
How can you be supportive of refugee settlement in Tennessee while also supporting the state's ongoing lawsuit?
I think it's very clear that lawsuit is to protect us from a mandate from the federal government on refugee resettlement. The 10th Amendment, to me, is very important. A state having the right to choose whether or not and to orchestrate the plan and the terms upon which they will accept refugees, for example, that's really important. Being mandated by the federal government on a program like this, or any mandates from the federal government, are troubling to me. I'm a strong believer in states' rights, and that's why that lawsuit needs to be maintained.
What message does this send to the rest of the country about Tennessee?
Well, I think it sends a message that we are thoughtful, that we are very concerned about protecting our citizens and about a vetting process and about the 10th Amendment, but at the same time, we are a state that understands that for generations, America's greatness is in part been created by its willingness to be a refuge to political and to religiously persecuted refugees. We've done that for generations, and we'll continue to do that here.
Last question? All right.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.